All right, so if you have access to a yoga mat, you might want a yoga mat. If you don't, just find some space on the floor. We're gonna start in a tabletop position. So you're gonna come onto all fours with your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, and the tops of your feet on the ground. We're gonna start with a few stretches for the spine. So as you inhale, we're gonna coordinate with breath. As you inhale, draw your belly down. Turn your toes under to stretch your feet and lift your gaze forward. As you exhale, curl your spine like a mad cat, flatten your feet, tuck your chin. And these are cows and cats. So inhale, come into cow pose. And then exhale, curl your spine and come into cat. And let's do about 3 more. So inhale, look forward or maybe look up. Exhale, tuck your chin, tuck your hips, flatten out your feet. 2 more. Big inhale. And exhale. 1 more time. Big inhale. And exhale. All right, and then we'll come back to neutral. I'm gonna have you take your knees a little wider, bring your big toes a little closer. Take your right hand higher than your left and just sit back in child's pose. So we're reaching through the right arm, let your head drop, feel that stretch through the right shoulder. Take a few breaths, so big, deep belly breaths. Try to breathe through your nose with your mouth closed and send your breath deep in your belly. 1 more full breath. And then we'll lift up and we're gonna switch hands. So right hand down, left hand up, sit back again. Take a few deep breaths here, giving your body time in the stretch just to feel that release. And then on your inhale, we'll come back up to tabletop. Hands under the shoulders, tuck the knees back in so they're hips distance. And then we're gonna thread the needle. So reach your right arm to the right side, and then the right hand is gonna go under the left arm. You're gonna put your right shoulder on the ground, put your head on the ground, and then send your left arm up. So you're getting a twist here. Try to keep the tops of your feet close to the ground. You're looking under your left arm. Take a few good deep breaths here. And then we'll drag the left hand down, press into the left arm, reach the right arm wide, and we'll float that right hand down. Switch sides, left arm reaches out, and then left arm reaches under. Park the shoulder, drop the head, reach the right arm above you. Try to keep the feet close to the ground and take a few breaths on this side. And then we'll drag the right hand down, press back up to table, sweep the left arm out, and then we'll float the left hand down. So from here, we're gonna walk the hands a little bit higher, tuck your toes under, pick up your knees, and come up to downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, you wanna let your head drop between your arms, send your hips back and up. You can keep a little bend in your knees. We're gonna pedal the legs out a little bit here. So alternate bending one knee and then the other. And we'll just stretch through the calves and the ankles and the feet and the hamstrings. And then the next time you inhale, lift your heels high. So big stretch for both feet. As you exhale, let your heels drop, but don't force. So from here, we're gonna take the right foot and try to step the right foot wide beside the right hand. We're gonna lean into a lunge. So as the foot comes forward, drop your hips forward. If the right foot landed short, just use your right hand to help it forward because we do want it high. We're gonna lean the hips forward and down and then reach the right arm up and get a twist to the right. And then we'll drop the right hand back down, pick up the right foot, and step back to down dog. Then we'll try the left side. So when you step the left foot up, think about creating space under the body. So pick up the hips, curl through the spine, step your left foot high. Find the lunge by bringing your hips forward and down, stretch through the right arm, left arm, twisting left, and then we'll come back down. Push back to down dog. We're gonna do one more here. So stepping the right foot forward, big step forward. Let the hips drop. And this time I'm gonna have you go ahead and drop your back knee. And we're gonna stay in this lunge a little bit longer. So I want you to think about letting the hips go close to the ground, lifting your chest a little bit. So we're getting a big release here on the right hamstrings and through the right hip. Another deep belly breath. So in through the nose and out through the nose. And then I'm just gonna have you push your weight backward. So as you push backward towards your left foot, you're straightening your right leg a little bit. You might keep a little bend in your knee. It's okay to keep the knee slightly bent, but you're gonna feel that deep hamstring stretch here. Hold on for a breath or two. And then we'll just bend into the right knee again, lean your weight forward, and we're gonna take the right leg and step the right leg wide to the right side. Sit back towards your left heel, and we're getting a big inner hip on the right hip, big stretch there. If you can't sit all the way back on your heel, you can stay up in table and just drop to your elbows. But I want you to feel the stretch there in the inner thigh on the right leg and into the groin. So let's stay for 2 full breaths. Okay, and then we'll lift our way back up to table, tuck in the right knee, so we're back on the hands and the knees. Walk your hands forward, tuck your toes, pick up your knees, and come back up to downward facing dog. You can pedal out your legs a few times if that feels good. Just getting those stretches for the legs. And then again, when you inhale, lift your heels high. As you exhale, let them drop. We're gonna do those same big spider lunges. So let's start with the left foot this time. Bring the left foot up toward the left hand, big step forward, sink into the lunge, and reach the left arm high. Take the twist. And we'll bring the left hand down, step back to down dog, and go back to the right side. So take a big step forward with the right foot, reach up the right arm, take that twist to the right, and then back down to center, step back right. And we'll get one more here on the left. So bring the left foot up, and this time we're gonna hang on to the lunge. So drop your right knee, and just let the hips kind of sink toward the ground a little bit. Think about lifting your chest, lifting your gaze to encourage that deep stretch in the left hip. One more good breath here. And then we're gonna shift our weight backwards. So just like we did before, we're basically just walking back, straightening the left leg, finding that deep hamstring release on the left side. So if it feels really intense, keep a little bend in this knee, or maybe walk yourself up a little higher. If you can do a little more, walk in lower and start to straighten your left leg. Stay for another full breath. And then we'll bend the left knee, lean in just a bit. We're gonna thread the left leg to the left side, just like we did on the right, and sit back in 3-point child's pose. Remember, your option is to stay in table and just drop to your elbows. So whatever gives you a nice deep stretch into your groin and inner thigh is what you want to choose. Stay for a few breaths. And we'll come back up through tabletop. Tuck in your left knee. Walk your hands up again, spread your fingers wide apart, tuck your toes, pick up your knees, and come back into downward facing dog. So we'll just stay in down dog for a breath. And then gently walk your hands and feet together. So bend your knees a little bit, and we're gonna come into a forward fold. So your knees can be as bent as you need them to be. Reach up and hold your elbows. Let your head hang. Find that forward fold. So let the weight of your arms, the weight of your head, help to create that forward fold. And your knees can be slightly bent, but you can begin to straighten your knees out and find a deeper hamstring stretch. Let's take 2 sets of deep belly breaths here. And then we'll release the elbows with your knees bent. Tuck your chin to your chest and keep your spine really round. We're going to come up slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. So as you come up to standing, unroll the spine so the shoulders come back, the head comes up last. At the top, reach all 10 fingers to the ceiling. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. We're gonna do that 1 more time. So inhale, reach the arms up, big stretch toward the ceiling. I'm gonna have you take your right hand and hold your left wrist. Keep your legs strong, keep your tailbone tucked under, and just lean to the right, creating space on the left side of the body. Gaze forward, work to straighten the elbows. Keep pressing your feet into the floor and tuck your tailbone. Take 1 more good breath. And then we'll come back up through center, switch out your grip. So left hand takes the right wrist, lean to the left, keep your legs strong, belly button pulled in, tailbone scooped under. Work to straighten the elbows and take a big breath here. And come back up through center. As you exhale, bend your knees a little bit, swan dive, fold forward. Bend your knees and place your hands on the ground. We're gonna step the right foot all the way back to runner's lunge. So take a deep enough step here that your left shin is perpendicular to the floor. Release your left knee, untuck your toes, reach your arms overhead and come up for low lunge. So you wanna put some weight in your left heel, so you're grounded through that heel. And then we're gonna bend the left elbow, reach for the elbow and take a stretch there for the left triceps. Stay for a breath or 2. And then we'll just reach the hands back around the front foot, tuck the right toes, pick up the right knee, quarter turn to your right. So we're gonna pivot toward the side of the mat. Make sure the big toes are pointing forward and just find a wide leg forward fold for a few breaths here. So it's okay to have the knees soft. The hands can be under the shoulders or maybe a little farther in. Take another full breath. And then walk your hands under your chest. Turn your toes out to the corners. So now we want the toes to turn out. And we're just gonna bend into one knee, get a little side lunge, bend into the other knee. And these are little half squats. So you're just kind of bending side to side. These can be shallow or deep, whatever feels good to your hips. Have you do 1 or 2 more. And then we'll come back to center, turn your toes forward, bend your knees a little bit, reach your hands to your hips and come all the way up to standing slowly. You're gonna turn your left foot to face the top of the mat, bend into your left knee, so your right leg stays straight, but your left knee bends. Open your arms sideways in a T. This is warrior 2. Arms are long and straight. Bending the left knee, take another big breath. And as you exhale, your left elbow is gonna sit on the top of your left thigh. Your right arm is gonna stretch up. Look up to your right thumb. Keep your right leg straight and try to spin your chest up towards your right hand. Take another big breath. And then we'll just look down, we'll bring 2 hands down, we're gonna come back to runner's lunge, sink the hips forward, let the heart lift just a little bit, hold on to that runner's lunge, and then put the hands on the ground, step back to down dog. Take 1 breath in down dog. And then we'll walk back up to ragdoll. So bring the feet up to the hands, take that bend in the knees, reach up and hold your elbows again, let your head hang, let your arms hang, knees can be soft, or you might be able to straighten the legs a little bit more on this set. Let's take 2 breaths. And then on that second exhale, just let the arms go. Bend your knees, curl your spine, round your back and come all the way up to standing. Uncurling the spine, make the legs strong, shoulders come back, eyes come forward. Sweep your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your chest. We'll do that 1 more time. So inhale, reach the arms up. This time, as you exhale, let's just take a standing twist to the right. So drop your arms down to shoulder height, turn your chest, inhale, come through center, exhale, twisting left, inhale, come through center, and then as you exhale, just swan dive again, fold forward, bend your knees, put your hands on the ground, and this time, step your left foot back to runner's lunge. So we'll make sure that right knee is stacked over the right ankle. Put your left knee down, untuck your toes, and reach your arms up to find that low lunge on this side. You want a lot of weight in your right foot, that's your anchor. And then we'll bend the right elbow, take that right tricep stretch. So we're trying to pull the elbow just a little bit closer to the head. Take a breath or 2. And then we'll reach both hands around the right foot, tuck your left toes, pick up your left knee. We're going to make a quarter turn to your left. Pivot the feet so the big toes are going to face the side of the mat, and just come back into your wide leg forward fold. You can have a little bend in your knees. You do want it to be fairly comfortable, so no pinching in the hamstrings. Another full belly breath. And then lift up just a little bit. Turn your toes to the corners, and we'll get those same kind of side-to-side squats. So same little drops into one knee and then the other. We are trying to keep the heel down. So the knee that's bending, we do want to try to keep that heel on the ground if we can. I'll give you time for 1 or 2 more. We'll come back to center, turn your big toes forward, take a little bend in both knees, hands to hips, and we'll come all the way up to standing. Pivot your right foot to the top of the mat, turn your left toes in just a bit, open the arms in a T position, and then bend into your right knee. So this is warrior 2. So we're trying to push the right knee just a little bit out toward the pinky toe. So try not to allow that knee to collapse. Keep your left leg strong. Take another big breath. And as you exhale, right elbow to the right thigh, left arm stretches up. Look up to your left thumb and spin your chest up in that direction. Take a breath or 2 here. And then we'll just look down to the right foot, take your hands around that foot. Come back onto the ball of the left foot. Step back to down dog. All right, hang on to down dog for a breath. Okay, and then we're going to bring the right knee up toward the right wrist. So this is a little pigeon stretch. The right knee comes toward the right wrist. You're going to sink the hips down toward the ground. Walk up onto your hands. Just take a breath and look forward. And then we'll fold into that forward fold, walking onto the elbows. It might feel good to come all the way down on the forehead, if that's possible, or you can stay up on the elbows. We are trying to level the shoulders, level the hips. And if it's hard for you to do this with your left leg stretched out behind you, walk your way back up and bring your left knee sideways and take that same stretch with a little more space between the legs. So I'll leave that up to you. Take a good 3 more breaths here. All right, and then we're gonna walk our way back up. Just tuck the back toes. We're gonna step back to down dog to change sides. When you're ready, we'll bring the left knee up toward the left wrist. And we're gonna start by untucking the right toes, or this might be where you need to bring the right knee sideways, and that's an option. Start by coming upright, look forward, and then we'll find a forward fold. So coming onto the elbows, or you can go lower if you like. We're trying to get a deep stretch in the left hip here. Take a good 3 big breaths. And then we'll walk our way back upright. I'm going to have you lean to your left and just bring your legs around. Step your feet up toward the top of your mat. Lean back on your hands and take your feet really wide. So you want your feet wider than your mat. We're just going to drop the knees side to side like windshield wipers. So the wider your feet are, the easier it'll be to get the knees down. Turning through the hips, moving through the spine. The next time your knees go to the right side, let's hold on the right. We're just going to walk our way back up and turn to face the right shin. You might be feeling a big stretch in your right hip here, or you might need to walk in a little bit. Take a breath or 2. And we'll walk our way back up. Turn back around to center, drop your knees to the left, and we'll try that stretch on this side. So just coming up, leaning over the left shin, take a breath or 2. And then we'll come back up to center. All right, come to center and just bring the feet together. So a little butterfly here. I'll just face you so you can see me better. You want to just drop the knees wide. You can tent the fingers on the floor and just sit up nice and tall. Or if you feel like you can lean over the legs just a little bit. See if you can kind of soften through your hips to let your knees drop. Take a couple of breaths. All right, and then we'll come back up to seated. I'm going to have you extend your right leg forward, pull your left knee into your chest, and then step your left foot over your right foot. Swim your left arm back, reach your right arm high, and then we're just going to either wrap the elbow around the knee or cross the elbow over the knee, sit tall, and turn your chest. So we're trying to think about creating length in the spine so the crown of the head is stretching up. At the same time we have that length, we have rotation. Take a breath or 2. And we'll come back through center, step the left foot over, stretch out the left leg, pull in the right knee, step the right knee over. Make sure you're sitting all the way up. Swim your right arm back. Reach through the left arm. So you want to find length through the left side before you twist. Either wrap the elbow or cross the elbow. And then start to turn your chest. Take a few breaths here. and then we'll come back to center. I'm gonna have you bring the soles of your feet together again, just like we did a second ago. But at this time, I'm gonna have you come down on your back. So bring your feet together, let your knees drop wide, and come all the way down on your back. Now, if this makes your hips feel tight, or if your knees are really high, slide your feet a little bit lower so your knees can drop. Arms out by your sides. We're gonna stay here for a good 3 or 4 breaths. See if you can breathe through your belly. So when you breathe through your nose, expand your breath into your belly, and then when you exhale, release from your belly. So we're trying to get those slow, deep belly breaths that signal to your body that it's time to rest and slow down. Let's take 2 more good breaths. Right, and then we'll draw the knees together. Plant your feet flat on the floor. Walk your heels close to your body. Point your big toes forward, and then drop your hands down by your hips. We're just gonna take 1 bridge pose. So press your feet into the floor, lift your hips off the ground, and think about as the hips come high, you can probably scoot your shoulder blades a little closer together. Keep weight in both feet. Take a breath or 2. And then we'll curl the spine to come back down to the ground. Pull your knees into your chest. Stretch your arms out in a T. We're going to drop knees together to the right side. So both knees go right. We're going to try to keep both shoulders on the ground and either look up or look over to your left. And let's take a good 5 deep breaths here. So long hold, deep stretch. Last big belly breath. And then we'll bring the knees through center and just gently drop your knees to the left. And we'll take those same good deep breaths here. You can look up or look over to the right. Relax your shoulders. Last big breath. And then just bring your knees into center. And we're going to stretch the legs all the way out nice and long. Bring your arms down by your sides. Come all the way down on your back. Take a second to tuck your shoulder blades down. Take a second to drop your chin a little bit. And then let your body weight really rest on the ground. Close your eyes here. And we're just going to finish with 10 full deep belly breaths. Just slow inhales and slow exhales. one more full breath. And as you exhale, just let it all go. And then stretch your arms up, point your toes, give your whole body a big squeeze and a big stretch. And then just tuck your knees in. And you can roll sideways or press up to seated or roll up to seated. Maybe come into a comfortable cross-legged position. And that's the yoga. I hope it feels amazing and I hope it helps.